The thing is, this is not something that you have to practice. Is it true, is it a fact that the body that you carry today, which you imagine is yours, is the soil of this planet and must have been carried by many creatures, not just men and women, by every other creature, plant, animal, insect, worm, should have used this soil at some point in these a few million years or billion years of existence of this planet. For sure it is so, isn't it? So what you think is your body is just planet's way of recycling itself. So right now, it is with you. If you want to claim it is mine, you can claim it, but Mother Earth will teach you a lesson one day and show you that it's not yours, not an atom of it can you take anywhere. So these are fundamental facts. So what I told you in the satsang is not that you have to practice this. This is a reality, this is a truth about your life. This truth cannot be practiced, truth cannot be invented. You can only remind yourself. You can realize and remind. So, if you have realized, if experiential realization has not happened, at least intellectually you have realized that the body that you carry, the air that you're breathing right now, which is an important part of your life, the water that you drink, the food that you eat, just flows through you and makes you who you are. For this moment, it is not something that is either you, nor is it yours. You must be grateful that you're allowed to use this to whatever extent you wish. I only hope people will use it sensibly. The important thing is to be conscious that this is the reality. Whatever we are unconscious of, we will become ignorant of it after some time. So if you are conscious that this is not even yours, to use it, a sense of gratitude will arise within you. And once you know this is not you and this is not yours, your ability to use it also will be greatly enhanced and you will naturally start exploring what is the nature of who you are. This is not something that I have to guide it. I don't have to tell you, please seek your inner nature. If you know that everything that you think or imagine as myself right now is actually not even yours, if that realization sinks into you, longing to know what is the nature of who you are is a very natural process and it will be a successful process because you have set the necessary ambience. Without setting this ambience, being deeply attached, being deeply engaged with the body, thinking it is me or mine, and talking about self-realization is like mooring your boat and then going on rowing the boat. It's not going to go anywhere. Obviously, you have no intention of going anywhere unless you untie your ropes. So this is just the fundamental ambience that is necessary for one to move forward. Without setting this, it is like you're tied up and you want to row the boat, it's not going to go anywhere. So, do not practice this, just remind yourself, this is the reality. Spend some time with this truth. It is true that it is not actually yours, it only passes through you. And see how much of the time you can stay conscious of that. Remind yourself, that's all. There is nothing to practice. It is there staring in your eyes with every breath. Can you just inhale and hold the air that you inhale? You have to exhale. That is telling you that you can't even hold it for a moment, it can't be yours. If the air that you breathe is not yours, the water that you drink, how did it become yours? The food that you eat, how did it become yours? The land that you walk upon, how did it become yours? So, this is not a new idea or concept. This is a reality which is constantly staring you in the face, but most people choose to ignore. When you ignore reality, that is when you become ignorant.
There are many methods in the scriptures through which you can know your true nature beyond body and mind, through which you can know your divine infinite nature. Of all these methods, the one that I like the most is the seer and seen method. It's given in a Vedantic text called Drig Drishya Viveka. The first verse of this text explains this method. Now, before I explain this verse, let me tell you something called the Seer-Seen principle. This principle will help you in understanding this verse. The Seer-Seen principle says that the process of seeing can take place only when there is a gap between the seer and the seen. It's quite commonsensical, isn't that so? You see a flower. How do you see a flower? You see it because there is a gap between the flower, which is the seen, and your eyes, which is the seer. Now let me explain the verse to you. The verse goes like this. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik tad drishyam driktu manasam Drishyadhivrittaya sakshi drigeva natu drishyate. The verse says that the form is perceived. Rupam here is form. So it says the form is perceived and the eye is its perceiver. And the eye is perceived and the mind becomes its perceiver. And now the mind, all its thoughts and emotions becomes the perceived, and the witness is the perceiver. The form is perceived. It says the form is perceived and the eye is its perceiver. The form is seen and the eye is the seer. Here form includes all objects of sense perception. Whatever you see in this world, people, things, animals, plants, planets, stars, galaxies, whatever you see in this world is the form. And it is seen. Seen by whom? Seen by your eyes. So the eyes become the seer. And how are you able to see these? Because there is a gap between those things and your eyes. That's why you can see those things, right? Now the verse says, eye becomes the seen and the mind becomes the seer. Here eyes include all sense organs like nose, tongue, ears and skin. Every sense organ has its own object. The object of nose is a smell, that of tongue is taste, and of ears are sounds, and skin has touch as its object. So what says that the eyes becomes the seen? All the conditions of the eyes are seen by the mind. The conditions like myopia, hypermetropia, they're all seen by the mind. So here your mind can see your eyes and its conditions, which means the mind is the seer and eyes are the seen. And mind is able to see the conditions of the eyes because there is a gap between the eyes and the mind. That's what the Seer-Seen principle says, right? That the seeing can happen only when there is a gap between the seer and the seen. So here eyes become the seen, or the conditions of the eyes become the seen, and the mind is the seer. Now the verse goes a bit deeper and it comes to you, the real you, the divine conscious being. The verse says, the mind with all its thoughts and emotions becomes the seen, and the witness, the conscious divine you, becomes the seer. Who else will see the thoughts and emotions that go on in your mind? You can easily see your thoughts and emotions. Who sees them? Who watches them? Who witnesses them? It's you, the real conscious divine you. You cannot go beyond this witness. That's what the verse says in the end, that you cannot go beyond the witness. If you think that there is a seer of this witness, then there will be seer of that seer, and this will lead to infinite regress. Just see what your experience says. You think you are the body, you think you are the mind, but you can easily witness all the conditions of the body, all the conditions of the mind. How are you able to see that? You can do so only because there is a gap between your body and mind and that which watches body and mind. Who watches body and mind? Who witnesses body and mind? It's you. Don't you think so? Who else will? You, the divine conscious seer, watches the body and mind, which means you are separate from body and mind, which means you are not the body, you are not the mind, but you are the seer of body and mind. Abide as that seer, and you will soon realize this ever-present truth.